Hi everyone, lovely to see you all. Well, see you all, to know you're there. We're going to get started in just a moment. We'll give everybody just a second just to join and then we'll get cracking. Really excited about this webinar today. I'm really grateful you've given us your time and attention. As I say, we'll start in just a moment or so and we'll go from there. Wonderful. You can see everybody arriving. So let's start, shall we? Thank you so much for joining us. As mentioned, my name is Christian. I am an account director at the Spotler Group. I will let Kate introduce herself, but we're very, very fortunate to have Kate speaking with us today. As we look at the topic for today, plan now for e-commerce holiday email campaign success. Something that will start to come up in content calendars and planning, and we want to talk through some ideas, plans, strategies, and making the most of that time. But first, just wanted to speak a little bit about the Spotler solutions and the groupings that we work across. So we work in three key sectors. We work with e-commerce clients, we work in the B2B space, and in the government and non-profit space as well. So obviously today we're speaking specifically to the e-commerce sector, which is fantastic. There'll be lots for marketers in general just to take in as well. So it's a really great topic. One thing to mention at the start is just the Spotler e-commerce maturity model. If you're one of our clients already, this will be something that your account managers and account directors will be talking to you about. But the way that we look at our life cycling is the different stages of engagement of a recipient, of a contact, of somebody you'd like to be selling to and connecting with. And the maturity model, the customer lifecycle model here, and the maturity stages are going to allow you to move through and set strategies and plans to maximize every single stage in an increasing row of complexity, using the Spotler tools to maximize those returns on your investment in your platforms. So that's the Spotler e-commerce maturity model, and we're really excited to be talking more about that with you. As I mentioned, this is a Spotler Spotler webinar, just a couple of pieces just about us. We're really excited and really proud of how we're reviewed on both Trustpilot and in G2 as well. Just a little bit about us. So if you are on those sites, do have a little look. Final thing from me before I get out of the way and let the reason that you're all here speak, Kate, just a little bit about the housekeeping and the timing side of things. We've got about 45 minutes around that for the presentation, and then we've got questions at the end. So as Kate's talking, I'm sure there'll be things that you would like to kind of understand more or clarify, or might trigger things in your mind. Just pop those in the questions chat, and we'll get through as many of those as we can at the end. The recording will be available, which is great, so you can share this with your teams once it's completed. And if there's anything else that comes up, do use either of those email addresses to reach out. Now let me get out of the way and let the very talented, wonderful Kate take over. Kate, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Over to you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and put on my Christmas hat for the first time this year, albeit virtually in this case. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the webinar with us. I know a lot of people are off on holiday. Those of you who aren't on holiday, this is a very, very wise use of your time. So I'm going to be talking through a whole load of tips and tricks and examples to help you understand the holiday period that's coming up. But who am I? I'm the founder of eFocus Marketing, and I'm also the author of the Amazon bestseller, Intelligence, Email Marketing Isn't Dead, the Way You're Using It Is. And at eFocus Marketing, we really strive to help our clients to achieve intelligence, that intelligent email marketing that talks to your customers and prospects with what they need, when they need it, in that personalized, engaging way, having a customer-centric approach. So we've been doing this now for almost 12 years, and we've helped a whole range of clients, from entrepreneurs just getting started, people just getting started with those email marketing campaigns and strategy, all the way up to some really big name brands, including Ann Summers, Marks and Spencer, among others. So I'm here to help you today. You've got me for the next 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to be going through some really core information to help you move forward and create intelligence in your holiday email marketing. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're all going to get on the same page with that e-commerce holiday business opportunity. We know it's a big time of year, but let's look at it from that email marketing perspective. I'm then going to talk you through the 5 stages of the holiday season. Now, this is really important because it's going to lay that foundation for every step of your planning, and the 7 steps that I'm going to take you through to successfully plan those holiday email campaigns. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, stay with me till the end, and not only will you get all of this information that's really going to help you to think about what you want to do, when you want to do it over the course of the rest of the year, but also we've got a little competition for you. So stick with me and we will get to that at the end and give you all the details of how you can win. So as I said, I'm Kate from eFocus Marketing, and we are absolutely delighted to announce to you here today that we are exclusive partners of Spotler. So you can access our services, our expert strategic consulting services, through Spotler. So if you're a Spotler client, speak to your customer success manager today, find out more, get on a call with you, we'll talk through your specific situation and figure out how we can best help you. So really excited that we've got such a close relationship with Spotler, and we can work together to fit the amazing platform that you've got access to that strategy and what you want to do. So the first thing you want to do is get that holiday email marketing right. So let's just understand a little bit of what happened last year. So these are some American stats, but it follows true pretty much in the UK as well. So we did have some slightly slower spending last year. We had recession. It was still coming out the back of COVID. There's a lot of factors contributing, particularly over results for the last few years. However, despite that, there was a 7.5% increase in e-commerce sales from 22 to 23, and a record $9.8 billion spent online. So that's a 4.6% increase in the growth of in-store traffic, as well as that online increase. So this is a big time. People are still spending. Yes, budgets are tight, but that just means that as marketers, we have to work harder to help people and understand these shifts in how people shop, when they shop, where they shop, and how we can then, as your brand, help them along the way. Because email is responsible for over 20% of online holiday site visits. Could be even more for your brand. So we want to make sure you're getting that message right, sending the right message to the right person at the right time, particularly during this holiday period when behavior changes. But still, underlying it all, customers who purchase products through email are likely to spend 138% more than those who don't receive email offers. So this is giving you that window to those potential customers and really helping to drive the value of those orders. So to get all of these benefits, we've got to understand, when are people shopping? What do they need? And the when is that first part. And there were definitely shifts in what people were doing last year. So Experian did a report, and they found that there was an increasing preference for early holiday shopping, particularly online. So we have to start thinking about that. And again, you guys on this webinar today, we're only in August, but remember, people are starting holiday shopping slightly earlier. So we need to get our plans in place now to be ready for that behavior starting. Consumers quickly responded to early discounts and promotions and caused a surge in spending during October last year. So however much we cringe at it when we hear those jingle bells in the supermarket, it is worth starting and thinking about how do you start that strategy in those early times, and look at that response and the people who might be most likely to buy during those times. And Cyber Week, so we've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday, obviously has a significant role to play. And here Experian found that it accounted for 8% of total consumer holiday spending. So 8% was in those elements, those times. It usually lasts for a couple of weeks now, doesn't it? Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So it's a big portion that we also need to be focusing on, as I'm sure you already know. So this leads us through to thinking about the 5 stages of the holiday season. We've seen some of those shifts in behaviour, starting to spend earlier. So what does this mean for our timeline? Let's have a look. Stage 1. I encompass October and the beginning of November as this point in stage 1. So we've got those elements, October and November. We're going to deal with that in stage 1. Stage 2 is going to include Cyber Week, and it's also include that final push in December. But don't forget, holidays don't stop on the 25th of December. We've also got those post-holiday periods. So we've got the post-Christmas period in December, and then we go into January and the January sales. And of course, you want to be thinking about that now, getting that into the plans of what is going to be coming during those times. So that's the timeline that we want to be thinking about. And what we need to do is build up different messaging during those times, use the data that we have about our audience to personalize, segment, trigger emails even potentially during these times that are going to help them. But we have to break it down in our mindset so that we're not just sending buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. And it's the same thing over and over again. Adapt your message as you go through those stages. Think about what people need. In stage 1, it's those early shoppers. It's that starting point. Stage 2, we're going into that Cyber Week, getting those offers and discounts. And then we're going into the final, oh my goodness, I haven't got presents for Auntie Jean. I've got to go and get something. So we're in that final push. So again, we're looking at that urgency, final shipping dates. What are we working towards? Then as we go into post-Christmas, we've kind of got that a little bit of a lull. Some of you may have Boxing Day sales that start, and of course we include that in there as well. And then going into those January sales and the offers and discounts that you may be putting out there. So within this, to get this holiday timeline, to understand what you need in these stages, I want to talk you through the 7 steps to successful holiday email campaigns. So these are steps that we go through with our clients when we're doing a workshop day, for example, and working out what's going to be sending when, what are the segments, what are the themes. If we're doing a report for a client where we're planning this out for them, these are the steps that we go through. So I want to share those with you now. It's like a bag full of presents. The first step is to review last year's results, and even the year before and the year before that. And of course, taking into account differences in those years. We had COVID, we've had recessions. There are obviously differences, but we can look back at previous behavior of our subscribers, excuse me, and understand when they might start shopping and a lot of other things. So I'm going to talk to you about all of these elements in a little bit more detail in just a moment. So you want to review last year or the year before's holiday season results. The next thing that you want to do is to clean up your email list and check your deliverability. Chances are you're going to be ramping up that volume during this time period. We want to make sure that you are good to go from that side. Then as we're starting to create these plans, we want to look at your holiday segmentation strategy. Now, many of you may have a segmentation strategy in place that you use the rest of the year, but holiday marketing is very different. Holiday purchase behavior, very different from any other times during the year. So we do need to look at this as a separate segmentation strategy that comes into play during this time. Once we've got that information together, we're going to create your send calendar, plan your testing schedule. So what are you going to test as those campaigns start to go out? What's important to you to increase or decrease? You should also review your current live automations and any changes you can make to those for this period. and you go live. Track those results, measure them, and optimize. So let's look in a little bit more detail at each of these elements. First up, you want to review those previous results. So you want to look at this from different angles, and the questions you'll ask will depend on what you've done previously, but you want to start becoming a detective and digging into that information. So for however many years, holiday periods that you can bring in, and the holiday period would be whenever you put those holiday products and messaging live on your website, which for a lot of people is likely to be October, even if it's kind of a little bit more subtle in October, and then obviously full ramp up in November. So have a look at those previous results. Think about, what was your strategy? What did you send? When did you send it? What offers performed well? What was the content that performed really well? What were the emails that performed really well? Now that could be opens, clicks, purchases, include that data when you're having a look at all of this. The content that was most popular, whether that's in terms of clicks or purchases. If you did segmentation, what were the best and worst performing segments? What segments of your audience engaged with specific types of content? Any analysis that you can do on these previous sends is going to feed in and give you a baseline of what worked and what you can take forward into this year. So when you're looking at those results, you really want to see what comes out as you go. So if you have a look and you say, okay, we sent no emails in October and we started in November, perhaps something that you could think about off the back of that review is to include some emails in October and test them, test the performance, see what happens. Maybe you just test those emails in October to a certain segment. Maybe it's a segment of people who bought during October last year. Dig down. Keep asking questions. What can you see within that data? But you're looking at the holiday period specifically. Now, if you want to get really clever and really dive deep in it, you can compare that with purchase behavior or engagement from those subscribers during the rest of the year as well. What are those differences? That would be really interesting to find out. But just on the base level, do some analysis of the previous years. That's going to give you your baseline strategy that we can then work on as we go through the next steps. So whilst we're doing a little bit of a review, we've figured out what's working, what's not working from previous years. Now what we're going to be thinking about is what's working or not working with our list. So we need to clean up your list and check your deliverability. So what I want you to think about is different areas of what you might be doing. So something that we see quite often during this holiday period is people grabbing subscriber data that perhaps hasn't been messaged for a while. Maybe it's data that you've removed from your day-to-day emails because it hasn't engaged. Whatever the reason is, if you're going back to data that hasn't been mailed within the last month or two, you need to be very, very careful about introducing that data back in. So consider that time frame for introducing. Perhaps it's that you start introducing it back in slowly with some campaigns pre-Christmas. Try and get some engagement from that data first, clear out that bad data. And you've got to watch for that negative impact. So that could be in terms of hard bounces, complaints, drops in deliverability either from those bounces or those messages being blocked by different mail providers. So think about that old data that you're introducing back in. But also look at your program holistically over the last 6 months, the last year since the last holiday season. What has happened with your deliverability? What's happened with your hard bounces? What's happened with your complaint rates? What's happened with being blocked by various email providers? Probably Gmail, probably Microsoft. It could be those. So have a look. You want to be analyzing and finding these problems so that you can remove troublesome data. You can stay away from segments or specific content that generate a higher complaint rate. Whatever that might be, again, do some analysis and some digging into your campaign results and see where those problems have started coming in. We want to try and fix those for the general health of your email program overall, but specifically for this holiday period where you're likely going to be sending more emails than you would usually, perhaps to a slightly wider list than you would usually, and at a time when everybody else is doing the same. So in terms of some of your data, let's say if it's data that hasn't been contacted for a while, you could certainly look at a provider like kickbox.io, where you can run those emails through and check if they're valid or not before you do a send to them. Now, it won't pick up on everything, but it will take out kind of the prominent hard bounces effectively, which will help with that deliverability going forward. Think about all of those results over the last year. Like I said, anything that's increased complaint rate, anything that has increased unsubscribe rate, anything that has seen a lower open rate. Maybe you've tested offers previously in the year, or you've tested certain ways of approaching different segments of your audience. Use all of that data as you go into the holiday period. And for deliverability, if you do intend to kind of ramp up that volume, kind of say a prayer for all the IPs and domains out there over this holiday period, but just think about your own lists. And again, starting to bring in any old data that hasn't seen emails from you, do it now so that you can start warming them up and ramp up that kind of holiday send volume as you go. Okay, so you've reviewed your previous results from previous years, absolutely critical to do. Then a clean up of your list, and you've checked your deliverability, you're happy from that side, or you've got some changes that you're making. Now we need to look at that holiday segmentation. Now, the review that you did of previous behavior is really going to feed into this, because what you want to do is use that previous behavior to now amend your strategy for this year. For example, when did you start seeing subscribers purchasing? So perhaps you can create segments of subscribers who started with holiday purchasing in October or before, if you've launched it before and specifically called it out. Maybe you want a segment of those who bought in November and those who bought in the last week in December, so that you can get all of those last minute purchasers. Try and encourage them to buy earlier, but know, if not, that you've got campaigns that are going to help them in those final stages. Remember that timeline that we're working through. So timing, we've talked about that already in terms of your review. Now you want to create your segments from it so that you can really target that content messaging that you're sending out. Think about the types of products that people purchase. Maybe you're looking at the types of categories that were most popular overall. Maybe you're looking at it at an individual level and creating those segments of subscribers who purchased from specific categories. So we had a client that we were working with a few years ago, and they had a range of products from wrapping paper that was quite expensive, to be fair. It was like £10, all the way through to Christmas trees, sofas. It was a home kind of furnishing company. So what they could look at was people who bought from the wrapping paper and those smaller items categories versus those who bought the big items, the Christmas tree, the decorations, whatever it might be. So think about the categories within your business. Think about specific products. Now, if you can personalize those campaigns, if you can feed that data in to provide those personalized product recommendations, even better. Based on what they purchased before. Oh, we noticed that you purchased this last year. If your recipient really loved it, how about this for them this year? What else would be connected to that? Now, that takes a lot of data work in the background. Maybe that's not something for this year, but keep it as an idea for next year. Start working on it now, ready for that. But that might require data work in the background for you. Think about those spend values. So I mentioned those kind of different product levels and spend values, but think about that average order value that they have. Are they big spenders? Are they small spenders? Link that in. Are they big spenders far in advance, or are they big spenders last minute? That would help you tailor your campaigns. So depending on the resources you've got, you can implement lots of these or just pick a couple of key segments that you're going to pull out to provide that personalized content. But it's important to do this if you can, if you have the resources, if you want to take your holiday campaigns to the next level, even if it's one segment, do it, test it. Or if you've got the resources, or if you want help from us to do this, get those deeper segments in place. And what you want to be doing is responding as you're sending out these campaigns, responding what's working, what's not working. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So when you go through into this, so I've given you a few ideas already, kind of this just summarizes them. So you can create those segments, those groups of people that you send specific whole campaigns to, for example. So people who previously bought during the holiday period, specific products, all of those things we just mentioned. But what you can also do is create that personalized content at a one-to-one person level. So these recommendations would change for every single person. And if you're lucky enough to have Spotler activate within your tech stack with Spotler, then you can use that website behavior tracking to understand people's intent. What are they looking at? And then haven't gone on to purchase, and you can help and support, put automated campaigns in place to follow those actions up with other emails. Help them, support them, prompt them. So your segments are a really important starting point. So have a look at that data. Use those previous results to help identify those groups of people who are going to be really important for your plans going forward. Now, once you've got this, once you understand some of those differences in your audience, and if you're not doing holiday segmentation, that's fine, jump to the next one. But I would recommend that you really look at this if you want to increase your results. But either way, you then want to go to step 4, which is to create your send calendar and your content. So when you're doing this, we literally want to think about it as a calendar, of course, and we want to start by thinking about key dates. So I've got some on the screen for you there, and you can download Spotler's marketing calendar for this year, and I'm sure there'll be one for next year that comes out, so look out for that. But download this year's calendar at the link that you can see on your screen. So all of these dates, they fit into our timeline. We've got October, we've got November, we've got going into Cyber Week, and then into that December Christmas period, post-Christmas, and then of course into New Year's. So it's really important to understand these dates and how they impact the content that you're going to be sending out. Because what we want to do is, as I mentioned earlier, is we go through these stages as we get closer to that crunch point of Christmas, usually on the 25th. We've got to make sure that we help the subscriber, we educate them, we support them, we are there for them. We're not just trying to ram products down their throat, but we're doing it in a way that helps them find the right gift. So that could be content around gift giving advice, choosing the right size or color or whatever it is, depending on what you sell. Letting them know returns policy information. That's more important at Christmas time when you're buying a gift. Let them know your Christmas shipping date. Really important. So go through and based on those key dates, think about what are those key pieces of information that you need to provide and what are those key pieces of information you can provide to help people. So people during this period are buying gifts, but don't forget, they're also buying little sneaky treats for themselves sometimes. So don't forget content around maybe you'd like this, or drop a hint to your husband or your wife or your mother or your brother or whoever it is. Think about those types of things as well. Really put that human element into it. If you were looking for Christmas presents for member of family, friend, partner, whoever it is, what would help you? What would help you go through the hundreds, if not thousands of products that you may have to find the right one for them? What's going to give them reassurance that if they buy this gift, they're going to like it, or if they don't like it, what do they do? Use those email results that you have. Use web behavior tracking if you have Spotler Activate. Use seasonal questions that you add to your sign-up forms. Establish that gift buying potential. Are you looking for a gift? Who are you looking for a gift for? Great questions to be asking on sign-up during this holiday period. That will help you establish that gift buying potential and the areas of support that you can provide going forward. So think about people being tempted with those products that they wouldn't normally buy. So during the rest of the year, they might buy socks and pants. During the holiday period, they may buy sparkly tinsel and gingerbread making kits. So we've got to think about those differences. And this is why segmentation for the rest of the year falls down when you get to the holiday period. Behavior is very different. The products that they're likely to buy is very different. And actually, you should be excluding almost your holiday segmentation from the rest of the year as well, because you're thinking about that gift buying. If you can find out as part of the purchase process, for example, is this a gift? You can then use that for analysis going forward to identify if those items purchased were gifts or not. So really think about that and what you can put in place this year to solidify your success for next year and beyond as well. So there are a lot of people who like those holiday gift guides and content around ideas. So there was a survey in Bizarre Voice that said 43% of people like that type of content. 35% said that they find them helpful, and Gen Z are the most likely to find those gift guides helpful. So if you know the age of your subscribers, that could be a segmentation point as to different types of content you might present to them, or a slightly different way of presenting the same content. Now, the other thing that you can really think about, and I want you to think about, is having fun with your content. I'm going to start to bring in a few examples here now as well. So you can see an example from Casper there around Black Friday sale about setting an alarm. And then the second email in that is, oh, did you sleep through your alarm? Don't worry, we've got you. You can still come and shop now. Really fun, different way to be announcing those Black Friday sales, and that countdown is on. Here we've got an example from Bonaboss, and they've got a everything you have to do before Thanksgiving comes checklist. And look at these nice little sneaky calls to action in there as well. Get something nice to wear for dinner. Grab some new jeans. Find pants with some elastic in them. Get a sweater. So in amongst that kind of handy, fun checklist, you've also got those links through to the products that they sell. Now, we can have fun with it, but being useful, one of the things that you can do to be useful, and perhaps you have this functionality within your business. If you don't, why not think about putting it in as a request for next year? But wish lists are a really easy way to not only make that online experience more interactive, but also allow your consumers to save those items and wait for deals, or perhaps share them with other people. So to help your audience make the purchase easy, think about putting those wish lists in place. So 54% of US internet shoppers shopped using wish lists. 31% of US adults value wish list features, including save for later or share with others functions as part of that shopping experience. So think about wish lists if you've got those. Help people to find them, show the benefits of them, how to use them. And of course, in terms of content, customer reviews are always brilliant at building trust, whether that's reviews of the company and building that trust and authentication within the company, or with specific products, however you want to pull that through. 40% of consumers say they'll check to make sure there are positive and negative reviews. 29% will examine those reviews closely to ensure they're written by humans. So watch out for that AI coming in as well here. And 18% are looking for a third-party symbol of authentication, such as a trust mark. So think about those reviews, think about how you put authentication in place and build trust with other elements, such as those trust marks as well. These could be customers that are brand new to you, that have just come and bought in the holiday period. And again, looking at those previous results, you might find a segment of people who only bought during the holiday period last year, let's say, as a one-off, and haven't bought again since. Treat them differently. So link all of this through as to the content that you then provide and these elements to build trust and help make the purchase easy that you can bring in to your content. Okay, I'm going to take a little pause and a little drink here. As you can see, there's lots you can do. And when you're building up that content, bring all of these elements in. Think about your segmentation, think about what worked last year, and then go into that timeline. So as you're going into October and that warm-up period, and then November pre-Cyber Week, as you'll ramp up to that holiday season, think about early bird offers for proactive shoppers. Think about a countdown timer until the holiday period starts and those products go live for those people you've seen purchasing early before. Have announcement emails revealing big deals and offers as they start to come through during this period. Link people through to core elements, help them explore. Like I said, you've probably got hundreds, if not thousands of products. So you want to help them explore that. You want to link them in to those elements that are going to help them. So you can link them in like we've got in the examples where you look at specific categories. Maybe you look at general categories, him, her. Maybe you've got pricing categories, and I've got some more examples of these for you in just a moment as well. And again, start to think about, if you've got the capacity to, think about that behavior, what they're interacting with, and then using that to adapt ongoing emails. You could offer holiday signups, Black Friday deals signups to drive more people onto your email list. And don't forget Thanksgiving as well. Pick up on those timings, pick up on those elements. If you've got USA subscribers, don't forget that Thanksgiving period there as well. So here are a couple more examples of this for you. So here looking at categories. So this example from Wool and the Gang goes gifts by level, so beginner, easy, intermediate, or advanced. So you can choose depending on who you're gifting for, what level do you want to find those products for them, or it could be by craft. So again, here they're really helping you direct from, okay, we've got a lot of products here. I'm going to start narrowing it down at that first stage to help you get to the right products. Now, what you could do if you want to get to that advanced level, and if you've got Spot or Activate, for example, when somebody clicks through on these, goes onto your website, let's say they go into the beginner section, they start browsing pages in that beginner section and don't go on to buy anything. You follow that up with an automated campaign that helps to then provide them that next step. Help them again decipher and dig through all those products. You have to find the right one for who they want to buy a gift for. It could be that you break down that content by price, and we've got that example here, or if it's for him, for her, those general categories, and here we've got a mixed example of for her, but then it breaks it down into that kind of subcategory of under $100, etc., and gives specific inspirational products. Now, I don't know about you, but gift giving is hard. It takes me seeing a product for me to go, yes, that's what I want a lot of the time. I might have my budget set, but I don't necessarily know what I want. So this is a great way to target those types of subscribers on your list. I have a couple of examples for you here. So this is an example. I've just pulled out two sections, two modules from an email here where it's looking at kind of personality type. So here we've got for gourmets or for modern bohemians. That's really hard to say. So you could think about personality types. And again, depending on what your product is, your service, think about how you pull this into the content to display it in that slightly different way, to hook in to a different element of, I know how much budget I want to spend, or maybe they don't know their budget. So how else can you help them? It could be personality, it could be category, it could be level of hardness, whatever that might be. Now, another great way to help people, and if you have these in your business, is to create those bundled gift sets. So here you can see a couple of examples of emails that are showing these gift sets. So here we've got Dollar Shave Club, and then over here we've got Away with the different sets that you could buy. Again, that inspiration, you've got that packaged gift already done with a gift set. Gift sets, big business, have been for years at holiday periods. So again, make it easy, help people to find those gifts and package them together. Maybe if you've got the technology, why not let them build their own gift sets, for example, out of certain products? And then we go into the dreaded, the hallowed, the Cyber Week, the crazy period. So I don't think it's crazy as it used to be. And certainly, this really extends over probably a couple of weeks now and not just a week. But think about those Black Friday campaigns. Think about Cyber Monday. Think about your build up to that. Maybe get those sign-ups so that you can offer VIP access. You could offer that to your current list or as a sign-up on your website as well. Get early access, for example. Give them inspiration. Again, I see a lot of Black Friday emails that are, don't get me wrong, these emails work, but they're just shop Black Friday now, shop now. Help people. I always find that the emails that work the best are the ones that help them to dive through all of those products and find the right ones for them. Again, shopping online, to be honest, I'm not very good at it. I get very bored easily scrolling through all those products. So help people that are like me cut through and get them directly to products that they want and like. And of course, you can include elements like a countdown timer in Mail Plus, for example. You can pull that into your creatives to add that little bit of fear of missing out as to when certain sales end or when the last shipping date is, for example. So a couple of stats for you here about Cyber Week. So emails are still king, even though there are a lot of campaigns sending out. As you can see from this chart on the left, 68.9% of respondents prefer to hear from brands about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and other holiday season deals. It is your core channel for driving people to not only buy, but to increase those average order values as well. And if you're worried about sending too many emails, don't worry about it too much. Review your stats, look at not only previous years, but also as you're going through this year's sends, look out for a big increase in unsubscribes. Look out for those negative engagement metrics, your complaints, for example. That's going to tell you how much is too much. But if you've got something interesting and relevant and helpful to send to them, then send it. Maybe not multiple sends a day, like 17% of people that we can see here, but just for that Black Friday period, potentially. It's only a short period. So if you've got that sale happening Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's only for a short period, maybe on the last day, you send an email saying last day, and then maybe you send one an hour or 2 hours before the sale closes, a final reminder. That can work really well. So cadence, think about it in terms of how you can help your subscribers and link that cadence into who you're sending to, what you're sending, segments, content, etc. And then we are at stage 4, the final push through to Christmas at this stage. Help people. Again, you want to build this content up now. So use any previous engagement that you've seen or been able to track from those previous 3 stages. Use that for stage 4, but also remember the mentality now. So we're now into December. They've had that final payday before Christmas. They have got to buy these presents. And particularly with elements such as coming up to your final delivery date. So for example, Cyber Jammies here is calling out really nicely that last order date for delivery. If you come up to that and you go beyond that, then think about the other content that you could send out to them, such as e-gift cards. Now, these are brilliant for Christmas Eve, last minute, shops are closed, get an e-voucher for Auntie Joan down the road. So think about that content, and as you're working further towards it, build up that urgency. If you haven't got the gift for, and if you know who they're buying for, bring that in. If not, then if you haven't got a gift, break it down by the categories. Whatever you haven't done previously or that has worked previously really well. So in the first 3 stages, if you find that your holiday gift guide has worked really well, send it again during this final push. Slightly adapt the messaging. You haven't got long left, nicer than this, but you haven't got long left. We want to help you go to our holiday gift guide to get straight to gifts that your recipients are going to love. to help them again during this period. But remember that mindset shift and that sense of urgency and that key information that you want to bring into it. And like I said, when they do get past that last shipping day, you've got a couple of options. If you have offline stores on the high street, think about driving them there. And think about this throughout your whole strategy as well. So, for example, last year we worked with a very well-known high street brand. They have segments of their audience that solely shop in store, solely shop online, or a mix of both. Now, that is a key segment for them to be able to break down the content that they're sending. So really think about that in terms of your segmentation as well. When you get past that last shipping date, as I mentioned, e-gift cards are a brilliant way to do it. And you can see an example here from Kate Spade and Brooke Linen, who are driving that message out. Helpful, helps you get those last minute sales as well. Then we're past Christmas. A lot of brands like to send a Merry Christmas. Maybe you launch your sale on Christmas Day. Maybe you launch it Boxing Day. Think about, obviously, not only starting to go into those sales periods if yours start now, but think about that post-Christmas period. Maybe it's like Postable are doing. You've got a product that you can use to say thank you, or what if they need to return a gift, or what if they've actually forgotten a gift and they're going to see somebody for New Year. Lots of different elements you could test here. Get into the mind of your consumer. What are they thinking? You can also do those kind of end of year wrap ups, and you might do that in this post Christmas phase or in the January phase. I'll show you another example in a minute. But using that data you have to feedback, it's a gamification of that information. It's a reminder of all the fantastic things that they've done with you. Pick that information carefully, but there are some fantastic roundup emails that we see nowadays that work really nicely to build that customer relationship and engagement. And you can see another example on the right hand side here from Google giving those kind of highlights. A little bit of old examples, but still hold true, whether it's 2017 highlights or 2024 highlights. Bring that data in. If you're not doing it, you're behind on that. So what we're thinking about here is leading into the January sale. So again, think about that content. So in the post-Christmas period, you're obviously also leading up to New Year's. So if you sell clothes, if you sell anything food related, if you sell anything party related, see, New Year's is a massive period for you. So in that post-Christmas period, between Christmas Day and New Year's, that's the content that you want to bring in, and then feeding into those sales whenever they start for you. Again, the same holds true for Christmas as it does for sales. And as I've mentioned for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, help people call out those products, help them find what they need. Once you've got that content plan together, you want to add in testing. You want to make sure that you're improving and optimizing as you go. So create that content plan and add in those testing elements, one element at a time, and prioritize based on your desired outcome. If you want to increase your sales, look at your segments, look at your personalization, the products that you're showing. Think deeper in terms of what you're changing, and then those metrics that you're revising afterwards to show what has worked and what hasn't. Create a hypothesis. We think that. Try and prove it or disprove it so you know exactly what has worked and why. And you're not just saying, oh, we like this over this. We like this color over this color. You actually want to know what it is. Is there a psychology behind it? Is there a format behind it? And you also want to make sure that you're running statistically significant tests. Now, I've got a little download here to help you. I've got a free split test planning kit that you can download at that link that you can see on your screen that's going to talk you through your hypothesis, give you that spreadsheet to plan out what you're going to test and when. You can use it generally, and you can use it during the holidays as well. So we're getting towards the end here. One of the final things that you want to do when you're doing your planning before you get to the last stage of going live is to optimize your automated campaigns. So if you have automated campaigns set up already, run through your library and see which ones that you can use to help drive engagement and increase sales during the holiday period. Which ones need to be turned off? Which ones need content changing? Do you want to change the design of them during this period? Do you need to extend the information that you're giving on shipping times? Does that change during the holiday period? Do you want to give specific information about delivery and returns? What is it that changes at Christmas? So whether it's your welcome series, whether it's a reactivation, whatever it might be, think about your content in those automations. And post-purchase, all of those around the customer journey, be thinking about how they're triggering for the holiday period and consider having a separate version. And then you get to stage 7 and you get to go live. So if we think about that timeline, this is probably going to be go live in October. At the time of recording this today, right now, we are almost towards the end of August. You've probably got 8 weeks before you're going to want to start to get some of those early campaigns going. So do that planning, get your content, your ideas in place, start to build those emails out so that you are well ahead of the game to really get the results that you're looking for. And don't forget, as those campaigns go out, don't just send them and forget them. If you can, analyze those results as you go and adapt it. If you're testing new segments and they're not working, don't run them again during the holiday period. Test a different segment. So adapt and test as you go. So to round us up, before we get to your questions, let's review those 7 steps to successful holiday email campaigns. Review those previous year's results, specifically during the holiday season. Clean your list, check your deliverability, create your holiday segmentation strategy, create that send calendar, add your testing plan to that send calendar, review your automations, and go live. So that's it from me today. We're going to open the floor up to questions, and in just a moment I'm going to tell you about our fantastic competition.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kate. That was absolutely brilliant. Really, really fantastic insights there. Yeah, really so much for us to unpack. And we have actually had a few questions, if I'm all right, to throw them to you.
Absolutely, please do.
So the first one is, how should brands adjust their email strategies based on real-time results during the holiday season?
Yeah, really good question. So the example I just gave is, if you have a segment that you're sending to that isn't performing as you would like to see it perform, and you set your benchmarks beforehand, you might switch that segment out for a different segment. If you see that another segment is performing highly, you might choose to add an additional campaign. If you see that a certain piece of content hasn't got the opens, clicks, purchases off the back of it that you thought it would, adjust that content. Don't send it in that way again during that period. Adjust it, take a different angle with it. How can you hook those people in? So it's really about looking to see what's working, what's not working. You've got to have your benchmark KPIs to understand that, and then making adjustments to your content, your send time, your segmentation, your personalization, whatever element it is.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you. You mentioned about the cleaning of lists. For those who kind of want a bit more information on that, what are the most effective ways to clean and optimize an email list? What are you looking to remove? What are you looking to see as the bit that's already clean? Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is look at when you last sent to your data. So if you're bringing in group segments of data that you haven't sent to in a little while, chances are that you're going to get increased hard bounces, you're going to get much lower engagement from that, and that could then impact your deliverability. So you want to clean up and understand who you're sending to and if there's any problems with that. If you see high complaint rates coming from certain types of content, you'd want to consider that as you go into this Christmas period. Avoid that type of content and move forward. So there's a couple of different ways to clean your list and make sure you're getting that good deliverability. But effectively, in essence, the clean your list part is get rid of anybody off of your list who is going to hard bounce, and obviously that will be cleared out from your normal sends, but that's data you haven't sent to for a while. or that is likely to engage negatively or not engage at all. Those are the kind of people that you want to be very careful sending to during this period.
Yeah, no, that's really helpful. Thank you. Um, and then the final one, kind of a similar sort of connected piece, which is around kind of that segmentation piece and who we're sending to. What sort of things are you looking at when you're looking to develop an effective holiday segmentation strategy based on past behaviour? How you talked about how it changes year on year, the 7.5% increase, the amount of the person spends. How are you kind of segmenting what on what you know and wider industry trends?
Yeah, so it really is that what's working and what's not. So again, having those benchmark metrics. But if you see, let's say if you send out a gift guide and you see that that email generates a much higher amount of revenue than another, you might want to be thinking about, okay, where else could we put this in? Let's say, for example, so you know that's good content. Let's say you've got Spotler Activate, and you can see that people are on your website and they're browsing different categories, but they haven't gone on to buy. So they're obviously not sure. Having an automation that then delivers that gift guide, because you know it's content that engages at then the time that's going to help them, is a really great way to do it. So it's about looking at what's working, what's not. How does that impact what you do this year? But also in terms of that segmentation, automation, what can you change? What can you add to really get you that engagement?
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. If anybody does come up with additional questions, do send them in. We've got some email addresses which we'll show at the end. But Kate, before that, you have something very exciting to talk about.
Do indeed. We have a competition. So if you enter our competition before the end of September, you could be in for winning some fantastic prizes. So all you've got to do is go to the link that you see on your screen, fill in the form to enter the competition, and you could be the first prize winner of a 1-day workshop with me, either online or at the Spotler offices, where we will go through a specific element of your email marketing with you. So we'll talk to you beforehand, whoever the lucky winner is, and we will create your personalized workshop agenda. Could be that you use the workshop to plan your Christmas campaigns. We could definitely do that, and that's something we do in our 1-day workshops with our clients all the time. So you have got me one-to-one all day with you and your team to work through planning automations. We could look through customer journey mapping. We could look at your Christmas planning, whatever you want that to be. So if you're the first prize winner, that's what we've got in store for you. Second and third prize, you are going to win yourselves an email marketing strategic mini audit. So this is going to give you a summary review in 3 key areas of what you're doing at the moment, what those areas of opportunity are, let's say in automated campaigns or in your sign up process for your campaigns, and what you can do going forward. So it's going to give you a roadmap of elements and a to-do list that you can jump on to accelerate your results. And then we're not leaving anyone out. We've got 5 runners-up prizes of a copy of my best-selling book, Intelligence, Email Marketing Isn't Dead, The Way You're Using It Is. So we've got that 1-day workshop. We've got 2 email marketing strategic mini audits that are going to give you those roadmaps. And then we've got 5 copies of my book. And all you need to do to win is go to the link you see on the screen, sign up, and we will be announcing the winner end of September as we go beginning of October. So get your entry in now. And hopefully I'll be speaking to at least 3 of you on the phone soon about your prizes.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Kate. That's absolutely brilliant. Our final mention is just on our kind of next steps. Just do reach out to your account manager if you have any questions at all, or if you're not a customer yet, use contact@spotler.co.uk. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And apart from that, I believe it's thank you so much for your time, everybody. And thank you, Ken, for that. That webinar is absolutely fantastic. So much for us all to be working on. And everyone, do remember that the URL and the recording will be ready for you to review and share with your teams.
Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.